Hello everyone, I'm Zoo, and this is Zoo Girls of Topic, a podcast where we explore art through emotion and curiosity, and everything in between. This isn't about perfect answers or published theories, it's about what art means to real people. And today, you are listening to the very first episode that makes this moment really special to me. Because this podcast started with one simple plea that art isn't a distraction or luxury. It's a language that can help people to understand themselves and each other. And what I want to prove that one conversation at a time. My guest today is someone whose work really stayed with me, not just because of how it looks, but because of how it feels. She once said that drawing for fun and creating from the soul are two different things. And that really stuck with me. And when you look at her paintings, you don't just see shapes or colors, you almost hear something. There is a rhyme, softness, a flow, something that even feels like jazz. I'm so excited to have her here. But before we dive in, I would love for you to introduce yourself in your own words.
Hi, my name's Róisín Lyst. I'm an artist from the north of England, and I paint with acrylics. And as you said, I paint music a lot of the time. And I just want to say thank you. That was such a lovely introduction.
Thank you. I love that. You also mentioned something powerful, that what we learn in schools is just a small slice of what art really is. The true connection with art begins when we start experimenting, exploring, or noticing that actually inspires us in life. So, can you tell me when that realization hit you?
Yeah, so I studied art at school until I was 16. Um, and I've always practiced art. I've always loved it and loved drawing. But I always liked drawing just everything and anything. So there wasn't ever something particular that sort of sparked me to draw the same thing over and over again. Um, and I wanted to be an artist, so I was trying to find that thing. Um, but I don't think it was ever going to happen while I was at school because I had such a small view of the world. I hadn't really experienced much of the world, so I didn't know what was out there that I wanted to paint. Um, and then I ended up going to university and studying science, and I then traveled the world a bit. So I went to New Zealand and France, and I met a lot of different people, and I experienced some different cultures. And I started going out at night to jazz bars, and I just talked to so many different people. And through doing that, I learned a lot about people, and I realized what I wanted to paint, and that was relationships and atmospheres and, like real feelings, I guess.
Okay, that's beautiful. So, there was a change in the feelings in the process between how you did it at the school and how you did it in real life, right?
Yeah, I think at school they were teaching me techniques of how to draw, um, which is useful. And I don't I don't know if at school they really could do it much differently, because you really just need life experience to be able to create art. But at school they taught you how to, for example, if I wanted to draw a horse, they would teach me how to copy a photo of a horse. Um, but they wouldn't necessarily teach you how to paint a feeling. Um, and I think that has to come from inside more.
Brilliant. Um, So the flow and layering and the move in your paintings, it feels actual music without even hearing this. Just I feel music.
Uh,
So you wanted to say something about this?
that's that's really really nice to hear because it's exactly what I want to do. And sometimes I look at my own paintings and I feel connected to them, but I think, well, that's just because I painted it. But when other people tell me, I get quite a lot of really nice messages on Instagram, and some people who see my work in real life just say really powerful things like that. Like they look at a painting and tell me that they can hear the music, which is just so special because as an artist, your job is to create emotion and make people feel things. So for them to tell you that they do feel that and they get it, it's pretty amazing. But I
Yes.
think I don't know, I just worked out how to get that feeling, that atmosphere and the music out of the atmosphere around me and onto a canvas.
Yes. And so for me, it sounds for me jazz. It's totally pure jazz. So there's anyone describe your art as another type of music or another thought?
Um, I think it's mainly jazz, but some of my paintings aren't necessarily jazz. Most of them are. But some of them are just a pianist, or there's one that I did based on Piano Man by Billy Joel. And I had some comments on that one saying that people they've loved that song for many years and they've always imagined this scene, um, but they'd never seen it before until I painted it.
Yeah, that's really true. I remember the first time I saw your paintings, I just hit me that how she describes how I feel with some paintings, even she don't know me. That was really surprise for me.
Oh, that's very kind.
Okay. So what the most surprising thing that anyone told you about your work?
The most surprising thing.
As a comment or just an emotion that transpired to them or something like this?
Um, I'm not sure. I've had so many lovely comments, um, some of which stuck with me. Um, Someone once said, just very simply, I love it when art makes me feel something, so thank you. Um, and it's just the idea that people, they can really have an emotional reaction to it, and it's just something that they're looking at on their phone most of the time because it'll be on Instagram. Um, but I don't know if there's anything that's, I don't know, maybe I'll have to come back to that.
Okay, that's okay. So we got to the point. So many young people grow up believing that art isn't serious. We can take it as a measure. We can just see it as a hobby. That's not practical or worth pursuing. So, what would you to tell someone who feels that way, that he really passionate by art and he really loved it, but he see it just hobby or the community say that to him?
Yeah, I would say that obviously there are lots of good careers, and I originally studied to be a marine biologist. And I was always pushed to do science throughout school. So I know what it's like to be sort of pushed in a direction that isn't art and to believe that sort of art isn't a real job. Because I suppose I didn't believe that, but I did think that I should do something other than art for quite a while I was growing up. Um, but basically, what's the point in living if you're not going to feel something? The whole point in, life is to feel emotion and to connect with people and things. Because otherwise it would just be very boring. If nobody had any emotions, we would be born and then we'd probably reproduce and then we'd die. But there would be no point to it all. But the thing about art, and there's so many different types of art, so music and dance and like TV shows and plays and all that, they make you feel something. And there's some moments in life where you just sit back and you just think, this is just amazing, even though it can be something as simple as you're just sat having a picnic with some friends, but it can be like you can just feel so happy in that moment. And that's what art kind of evokes. It makes you feel things. And I think it's really important for that reason, because there's nothing else like, science and I don't know, law, all the normal jobs, I suppose you would say. They're very useful. You get a lot out of them, but art is what makes people feel. And I think it's kind of irreplaceable for that reason, and the world needs artists. So I think if anyone wants to be an artist, you should really follow it, because if you're passionate about it and you do a job that you're passionate about, you'll be happy for the rest of your life, because I really believe that I will be. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Totally agree with this. Even I have a thought to make the science with the art, that I believe that everything have an art core in it, that medicine, engineering, all of this stuff, they always have something of art inside it.
Yeah.
So your art that helped you any time to feel less lonely or feel like a friend to you that understands you, and when you're just feeling sad or just feeling bad, but anyway, you just go to paint, to go to do your thing, and you just take all of the negative energy in it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so there's two different ways of using art, I suppose. You can consume it or you can create it. So I think in order to create art, you also have to consume a lot of art. So I love watching TV shows or going to the theatre or watching people dance or listening to people sing. And it kind of, if I'm feeling, any kind of emotion, or for example, if I'm feeling sad, and I can listen to a song and I feel like it goes through me and comes out as a painting. And then the act of creating the painting, just sort of doing it is a very relaxing process. But in the end, I feel like I've got everything out onto the canvas, and yeah, you feel a lot better afterwards.
Yes, I love the TV shows, and it inspires me so much, and the songs especially.
Yeah.
So you're a jazz lover.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, me too. What's your favorite ones that inspires you the most of your paintings, or inspires you for the life overall?
Oh, I love Etta James. She's one of my favorite jazz singers. And I love Joni Mitchell. I'm not sure if you would describe her as sort of a classic jazz. She's a bit more blues. But I think those two artists have some really beautiful songs that I feel like I can hear and I can see them as well. But I have playlists with all sorts of jazz artists. And sometimes a song will come on and I immediately think I have to paint this song. And other times it's just a general mood that the whole playlist will create, that sort of puts me in the right atmosphere to paint. So yeah.
Yeah, they are brilliant for me. I love them too.
Yeah.
Um, so if there's another kind of music it would inspire you, what it be?
Um, I'm not sure what the genre would be, but sort of singer-songwriter, not sad music necessarily, but music that kind of has a lot of emotion in it. Do you know Kate Bush?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this woman's work by Kate Bush is such a beautiful song, and I keep wanting to paint it, but I want to do it justice. So that's one of the ones that I'm gonna have to be make sure I'm in the right place to do, because I feel like once I've painted a song, I can't do it again. So, but anything, yeah, sort of just anything that has a lot of emotion that I can visualize. I think for every person it'll be different songs though. Just like for every person they'll connect with a different piece of art.
Yeah, that's really true. So you see that art is a gift or it's a skill.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So you can say the art is a gift for some people, or it's just a skill that can everybody learn and do.
Ah, yes, no, everybody can learn to paint. I think anybody can learn to do the technical skill. It will be harder for some than others, because I mean, my family I have a lot of artists in my family. So genetically, I suppose I'm naturally good at painting, or, I'm good at being able to create art. But I think that so it'll take a bit less effort for someone like me. But I think that anybody can learn to paint or draw. But I think it's a lot more about your voice. So everyone will have their own personal voice and something they want to say. And it's just about finding the way to get that out there. So for me, it's painting in my style. I think if everyone spends enough effort, like enough time practicing painting, they'll find their own style. But it could also be like singing or writing music or stories or writing plays. I think it's just that everyone has a slightly different artistic voice. But if it's something you're passionate about, it's definitely possible to be an artist for anyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually say. So there are too many of my friends that just say, I'm not gifted, I can do this, you can do this much better, you are a gifted one. But I see personally that it's just a skill. If you're passionate about something, you're gonna do your best and gonna do this, even much better than one gifted but not passionate with it, or he just don't care.
Yeah, I agree. I think I obviously I'm a professional artist now. I'm 23. But I've been selling my paintings since I was 13. And because of that, I've spent so many hours practicing, and I've just practiced and practiced and practiced. And I think anybody who's practiced that much for 10 years is gonna be somewhat good at it. But I think it's just if you enjoy it enough to practice it, then you will get there. But I suppose some people wouldn't enjoy it that much or wouldn't have the motivation. But I do think anybody could do it.
Yes. Actually, one thing that I noticed that you're buying your paintings, so you copy this so many times, and I know how hard is it to repeat the painting exactly the same.
How, sorry?
You're selling your paintings,
Yes.
so you copy the same painting too many times, and it's so hard. It's not just that easy to do the same thing exactly so many times.
Oh, so I sell prints of them, which are, do you mean like, I don't do the same painting twice, but
No,
I sell,
I see. You draw the posters.
they're printed.
They're printed, okay.
Yeah, so I do the original, and then all my prints on my postcards are reproductions of it. So a print company will make them.
So when we get to this point, you can repeat it again, or you just do this for one time.
So I just do each painting once.
Yes. I'm painting too, but it's like sketches, and I feel so hard to do the same sketch once again. Even someone who asked me to just draw it again, I can't. I just draw once.
It is hard, yeah. I mean, I suppose I've tried to do the same one maybe once or twice, but yeah, it's very hard to do another painting the same because it's never the same the second time you do it.
Yes, that's it. So, there's any point you wanna say something in?
Um, I don't know. I don't know.
It's okay.
I think all I would say is one of the best things about art and like talking to people about my paintings is they all connect with a different painting, but also they all interpret the painting differently. So, for example, like I have a painting of a girl in a window, and everyone who sees it has a different idea of who she is or why she's sitting there. And I just love hearing about that. And I think that really highlights how everyone has a different perspective of the world. And through art, you can show your different perspective, or you can see art and feel like you've been understood, even if that wasn't the intention of the artist.
Yes, everyone have its insight and see the art from its eyes according to their experiences and their life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So you wanna add anything else?
I think that's all. I just think thank you very much again for. I'm very pleased that you like my work, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your insights and your emotion to us. So, talking with you remind me why I started this podcast, because art is more than an image or a sound. It's a real connection, a language, how we feel less alone.
Yeah.
So, this is the end of the episode. If this episode made you feel something, even for a second, let it sit with you, let it move. That's what art is supposed to do. You can follow Róisín and check out her work in the episode description. And if you want more conversation like this, make sure to follow the Gossip Topic podcast on your favorite platform. And until next time, keep feeling, keep listening, and stay just a little off top.